you and I have some unfinished business. The last time we spoke in Davos, you told me, this was before the Glencore IPO.
Yes.
You told me that you were personally interested in buying a stake.
Yes.
Did you?
Shares.
Shares.
Yeah. I bought few.
And how many did you buy? A few?
Not much.
Not much. Do you wish you'd bought more? The shares have done pretty well.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Soon.
Is it soon? You think that the shares have farther to go?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
Because they've come up. They've done pretty well so far. Let's talk about Rusal and refinancing. So once you finish the refinancing of the $11.3 billion of debt that you have, I know the company said it wants to do that by September. Then you're free to issue dividends, to do acquisitions. In terms of acquisitions, where do you see the opportunities?
At the moment, we focus on organic growth. We have 3 unfinished project, 2 smelter, 1 alumina, and we believe it's the best way to enhance Rusal strengths in terms of cost structure, to be in first 25 quartile, as cost efficient,
sure.
And also produce more margin.
Just organic growth? You're not interested in buying anything once you get through the debt refinancing?
Yeah, but there is nothing left really, and we believe that Siberia now provide best opportunity over long term.
Well, you could still do a merger, for example, with Norilsk. That was a stated goal a few years back.
Yes, but now we change our model. We believe that Norilsk better would stay standalone. First, it's create more opportunity. Don't forget that huge companies, Rusal, Norilsk, has a good. It's important for them to have management which concentrated on development.
Sure.
And at the moment, Norilsk is so badly managed for the last 4 years that it will take another 2 years just to bring company back on its record, which was achieved under 2008. And we believe that Norilsk and Rusal actually has a huge opportunity in Asia.
A huge
opportunity in Asia, in terms of growing market, for our product and growing demand, for both, for Rusal product, aluminum, alloys, secondary aluminum, and also for nickel product, copper, cobalt, nickel.
I wanted to ask you in general about consolidation within the aluminum market, because it wasn't too long ago there were all the rumors of, for example, Rio Tinto buying Alcoa. Does consolidation in your mind make sense?
I think market pretty consolidated. If you look how much produced in the first 5 companies in the market, and especially how much free trade, because a lot of the metal consumed inside a vertically integrated company. Look for Alcoa, they produce as much as almost as they consume. That's why I think it's further consolidation could actually trigger different processes.
Where do you see aluminum prices going? They've kind of been hovering around 2,700 for a little while now. They're not back to their peaks, and there's already concerns that the growth in China may cool.
First, we don't believe that growth in China or in Asia will cool. It just contradicts what we've seen on data. Not about feeling, ideas, smart ideas somewhere from New York,
sure.
Which always very clever, but probability less than 10% very often. And we believe that Chinese urbanization, industrial export from Korea and Japan will drive base metal consumption, and more we've seen development in terms of electric car, more power efficient transportation solution.
No, that could mean less aluminum, of course.
That's
right?
actually would be more aluminum, less steel. More aluminum, less steel, and safety will pave the way for aluminum. Look at even in airplane, it was a lot of ideas about plastic, composite material. Everything failed. People realized aluminum is the only product which could justify reliability and efficiency. And we believe that in the next, of course, there would be
you can have lightweight steel,
dollar inflation. Of course, there would be cost rising out of energy, out of raw material, which will create further upside move in aluminum. But major shift would be when a new product would be developed in transportation, in construction infrastructure, and packaging.
So what's your forecast for aluminum prices for the end of the year?
Reasonably 27, 28,
A little bit higher than where they are right now, not too much more.
in the same range.
How does, when the third quarter comes and Rusal starts paying dividends again, how does the policy change? You're going to.
I'm not saying that we will pay dividends. It would
The
be.
company has said that.
Company. Company. Said, and I just want to focus that. Covenants would be removed, and Rusal would be able to invest, pay dividends without any concern from the bank.
Right.
Even in the past, we've done a lot of investment, but it was just a painful process. We need to discuss with the bank. Just time consuming. But we're happy because it creates more understanding from banking community what's Rusal model, and now no one has doubt. What's Rusal model really is, and we prove for the last 3 years by records.
So fair enough, I understand. You can pay dividends, right? What if you refinance the debt? The covenants will not be in place that don't allow you to do that. So will you pay dividends? Will Rusal pay dividends?
It's subject to the board.
What would be your preference?
It's very early to say. I just don't want to discuss this. It's just so hypothetical project.
We were talking about the free float of the company earlier being about 6%. It could be so much larger. If you have $11.3 billion of debt, obviously you could refinance that, but another option is to issue more shares. Why would that be a bad thing?
I think it wouldn't be fair for existing shareholders. Existing shareholders.
To dilute the share.
Yeah, they don't believe it would be fair price at the moment to dilute them.
So that's not on the table.
I wouldn't see that we will move in this direction, because at the moment we still believe there is a huge potential in further growth, especially when economy. Europe will run through its problem, US will show its direction, and there would be no doubt on China, on China's stability in terms of growth rate. And I think then third quarter, fourth quarter, will improve in the situation in the stock market.
So as you refinance your debt, just because you explained that you're not interested in acquisitions and you want to focus on organic growth, what does that do to your debt, your amount of debt? You're not going to take on new debt, or would you invest into? Just because I was expecting that you were going to say absolutely, we're going to go on the acquisition trail, but you've surprised me. So what do you do? You pay down that debt a little bit.
It's very rare you can build good company over acquisition. Because acquisition is always black box. Whoever would tell you, that it's simple or something, but it's always a black box.
Because you don't know exactly what you're getting into.
Rusal was developed through the three major acquisitions. What we done. First, when we merged, Abramovich assets, then Sual, then Glencore asset, and it was always painful. We made our next investment in the risk, and then we discover this improper governance issue, wrong behavior of the other shareholder, a lot of waste, and we believe at the moment, would be much more, efficient for our shareholders and for our share price if we will dig deeper in the same direction as we are now.
So what kind of debt load would you like to, do you think would be a good one? Obviously less than 11.3 billion.
I think Rusal, will keep, at the moment, we'll face, 3 EBITDA, in the third quarter.
Sure.
And debt to EBITDA ratio, and we'll feel comfortable on around 2.
Around 2.
Yeah.
So reducing from 3 to 2. What, in 2012?
It depends from the prices.
Gotcha.
And our appetite for how quick. It's not easy. Someone believes that you can easily invest billion, 2 billion, 3 billion a year. It's always limit. How efficient you can spend the money, especially on construction. Look how many projects was announced in aluminum with one budget, starting budget, and then they ended 2 times more very often. In nickel the same. This is a special, area. And for example, in Rusal, what's unique in Rusal, we have our own EPCM team, and we try to design, and most of our project we off balance in negative, not in positive, numbers. And this is our key. And look, for example, we plan our huge hydro dam and smelter Boguchansky project together with Roshydro. Could you believe how accurate we've been in 2004? That's now we over the budget less than 3% during the crisis, during so much inflation in Russia.
So, Rusal aside, where does Oleg Deripaska see the opportunities out there right now to make money?
I would develop my companies.
Well, there are many. What would be your second biggest focus after Rusal?
We have good program for N plus as a group.
Sure,
It's
you
important.
announced a big deal with China.
Yeah, it's a start. We need to develop more infrastructure.
In Russia.
A lot of people doubt why Russia so slow in Asia. But you have to. It should be eggs and chicken. First, you need to have infrastructure.
Sure.
We need to triple amount of infrastructure in terms of railway connection, port facility and capacity, in terms of border intersection, in terms of power, grid, in terms of pipeline.
Yeah.
This is the key, and government very committed, to do tremendous progress in this area, and then investment in new mine, new facilities, plus of course manufacturing. It will be more manufacturing inside Russia in this Far East and Siberia area, because this would support the growth, and we need to have. Look, for example, when Rusal built a big smelter, it's a lot of joint venture, because we invite suppliers to build joint venture in Russia, then service our our facility from Russia, not from Europe, not from Korea, not from Japan, not from China. And this actually developed a lot
in
of.
fairness, right? Sure, the Russian government is committed to investment in infrastructure, but the investment really hasn't been there, and it's very difficult to see that Russia's going to get the kind of investment it needs. I mean, okay, there's this Russia Direct Investment Fund. They want to focus on infrastructure, but the money's not there, right?
Not fair. Look at at the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum development. Huge investment just to develop university and APEC of 2014. Look at development of tunnel and railway. We're building so many railway connections. They're not huge because we're finishing old project just to bring railway right to the place where resources or unlock cities. Look at our development, Rusal. It's massive. It's not just our hydro dam, 3.8 gigawatt in Boguchansky and smelter. It's a few hundred kilometers of railway roads, power connection, bridges. I not agree. Maybe
it's just
maybe it was
the scale of the
exactly.
task is massive.
And you have to understand, in the past, Russia was sourcing west from our eastern province. Now we believe it would be more fair, to have balance, that 1/3 will go, to the Russian west, to support Russian manufacturing, in Europe, and 2/3 will go to Asia,
Yeah.
Japan, Korea, China.
You think that's the right balance?
Yeah.
2/3 to Asia, one.
I mean,
one.
it's always, but it's about transportation. It's how you can, because we all rely. We can't transport by by the air.
What do you think about this Russia Direct Investment Fund?
It's a positive thing.
It's
Let's
gonna
see how it will develop, but definitely will create more stability.
Government's privatizing a whole lot of stuff. Do you have any interest in buying any of the stuff that might come up for sale?
I'm not sure. We're so overloaded.
Overloaded. I'm going to leave you alone.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.